I would now like to introduce Aretha Van Herk, our university orator, who will deliver the citation for our honorary degree recipient.
Mary Simon, please stand. Eminent Chancellor, Madam President, members of the Senate and the Board of Governors, honored guests, fellow faculty, graduates. The Arctic is our greatest treasure, a unique ecosystem home to Canada's hardiest and most resourceful people. The near north, the far north, and the extreme north cast a transformative reflection over our southern face. The Arctic truly mirrors Canadian distinctiveness and beauty. Mary Simon has worked tirelessly to raise awareness of the importance of Canada's Arctic. Intellectual, diplomat, and respected Inuit elder and stateswoman, she is the Minister of Indigenous and Northern Affairs Special Representative on Arctic issues, charged with attention to climate, energy, and governance. But her leadership and innovation stretch far beyond the mere idea of North. She has been a CBC producer and announcer, and she has advanced critical social, economic, and human rights issues for Canadian Inuit, internationally, nationally, and regionally. Over 4 decades, she has held senior positions, including President of the Muckavik Corporation and President of the Inuit Circumpolar Conference, which first gave Indigenous people direct representation on a multilateral body. She served on the Implementation Commission for Nunavut, the newest, largest, and northernmost territory of Canada. She was the first Canadian ambassador for Circumpolar Affairs, and she was a lead negotiator in the creation of the Arctic Council, and she is the founding chair of the Arctic Children and Youth Foundation. Determined to give Northern peoples a voice, she is a powerful and fearless advocate for effective protection and environmental approaches, and for Inuit health, education, and wellness. It is not surprising that Mary Simon has received countless honors, but no award encompasses her dedication to Nunavut, Sanjarnavut, our land, our strength, the exquisitely beautiful polar regions that hold in their reaches the very heart of the Canadian imagination. Eminent Chancellor, let us give thanks for this woman who bridges cultures with hope and respect. Let us pay homage to Mary Simon's care and conservation, her immense contributions to ensuring that the North is involved in decisions made about the North. On behalf of the Senate and the University, I invite you to invest this leader in Indigenous rights and equality, Mary Simon, with the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
I admit you, Mary Simon, to the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, and grant to you all the rights and privileges, powers and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. Congratulations.
Unnusakut, Chancellor, members of the faculty, and the graduates, and distinguished guests. Nakokmik, thank you for the honor being bestowed upon me here at the University of Calgary. I always say a few words in my mother tongue, Inuktitut, which is the Inuit language, because I always feel that it grounds me to say the few words that I'd like to say to you. First, I want to offer my heartfelt congratulations on your achievements. It's such an important day for all of you. And as individuals who have graduated, this is really the beginning of your career. You have worked very hard for this day, so I don't really want to keep you from your special day, so I will just say a few words. What I'd like to talk about is what it was like when I was growing up in the Arctic, so that I can bring together what Canada was like then and what it is like during its 150th anniversary. Throughout my life career, I have been strongly guided by my early years in the Arctic. As a young girl, my family and I lived in a very small village called Kangyaksarutjuak, a tiny community. And we lived a very traditional lifestyle. My mother was Inuit and she was unilingual. She didn't speak English. And my father was white, a white guy from Manitoba. And he went to the Arctic at the age of 19 and embraced every aspect of the Arctic and the Inuit culture and the language. He spoke several dialects of Inuktitut. We have many dialects of our language depending on which part of the Canadian Arctic you live in. There were 8 of us in the family, and we only spoke Inuktitut in our home. It was the only language that were spoken. And we lived in tents and log cabins that were built by my father, and we traveled the coast of Ungava Bay in boats and canoes, and by dog team in the winter. And my grandmother Jeannie would teach us all the legends of the Inuit culture and history, and she also taught us how family ties and relationships were at the core of Inuit culture. It was not an easy life, but I regret not one moment of it. It became the foundation of who I am. So in recent months, I have been asked to participate in various events and initiatives to commemorate Canada's 150th birthday. And I am happy to do so. Yes, as Inuit living from the Arctic, in Arctic Canada, we are all aware, and we are celebrating the 150 years as a nation. Even though, as Indigenous peoples, we have been here for thousands of years before the arrival of the first settlers. I want to participate for a reason in the 150th anniversary. It is because of what this year offers and what the opportunity is to open new doors towards reconciliation between all Canadians, Indigenous and non-Indigenous. We cannot and must not go into decades ahead with the baggage of the past. Not long ago, at a meeting of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in Edmonton, I was very moved by the words of one of Alberta's most distinguished leaders, the former Prime Minister Joe Clark. He too was speaking about reconciliation, and he referred to one of the TRC commissioners, another distinguished Albertan, Chief Wilton Littlechild. Mr. Clark painted a picture of two boys growing up in a small town about 50 miles apart, each being raised in a loving household with a view of the same great mountains, and yet neither knew of the other's existence. There was more than a hint of regret and sadness in Mr. Clark's voice as he reminded us that as Canadians, we need to know and respect each other. The 150th birthday has caused me to realize the extent the dark history of the past is being revealed in today's events and issues. At the same time, we are acknowledging the remarkable accomplishments of Indigenous people in Canada. Indigenous peoples have fought together and ensured our rights were enshrined in Canada's Constitution. Inuit have settled all our land claims treaties. We are forging ahead on a new period of education and economic partnerships. The Government of Canada's apology for the horrors of the residential schools and the findings of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission have shown us a way forward. Canada has adopted the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and I hope that my own report to the Government of Canada for a new shared Arctic leadership model offers new hope as well. I know we are embarking on a vastly different journey than my childhood. Pitfalls still abound, but we must continue, and we must do better to build a healthy relationship between Inuit and other Indigenous peoples and other Canadians. With our combined strength, courage, and instincts, we can prevail and prosper. I hope all of you will join the reconciliation journey that lies ahead of us. What a birthday present it offers to Canada and all of us. So thank you very much for giving me the honor to speak to you today, and congratulations once again.
As a leader and as an advocate for Indigenous rights, and you're an inspiration to our students and to our faculty for your ability to strengthen the ties between Canada's northern people and peoples from Arctic regions around the world. Thank you for your insightful comments.